Well, it seems like my dramatic rantings and ravings of the season being over yesterday might not have even been over the top enough.
You are Locked On Rangers, your daily Texas Rangers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are locked onto the World Series champion Texas Rangers. I'm Bryce Patrick, a cripplingly addicted Texas Rangers fan covering this team for 11 seasons, including all 6 as the founder and host of this podcast. Thank y'all so much for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. If you're not already, you can follow me on Twitter at Bryce Patrick. You can follow the show at Locked On Rangers. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and on YouTube, where the best way you can help grow the show is to comment nearly any single thing below. Now, before we get into the nard-kicking, heart-wrenching loss that was against the Mets last night, this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code, all lowercase, LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Now, I would like to give you $100 if you can tell me a more gut-wrenching loss the Rangers have had this season. Actually, I wouldn't, because I don't think there is one. This was the timing, the way it happened, and the timing of the way it happened. All of those things together made it just the most nard-kicking, just shot to the kneecap, whatever kind of awful pain you want to feel about this loss. Extends the Rangers' losing streak to 5 straight games, coming off of a series win in LA against the Dodgers. Nope. You thought that was momentum? I thought it was momentum. Nope, absolutely not. The momentum is absolutely in the pooper right now. Oh, Josh Smith is back. Oh, he hit a 3-run homer. Oh, Wyatt Langford hit his first homer over the fence of his big league career. Oh, what's that happening there? Oh, that's Michael Lorenzen giving up 3 runs in his 6 innings work. That's every one of your reliable bullpen options not being good. Even ones that you were just starting to trust over again, not being good. And the one guy who's been untouchable all year finally is touched in a not nice way for the losing run in a game that the Rangers were leading at 1.6-2. And they could not finish it off. With a completely rested set of back-end bullpen arms that have been good this year, with an offense that finally figured out some things. Nope. You can't win this one because the Mets are just on some crazy run because of Grimace. Sure. Grimace is what sealed the fate of the Rangers. Sure. Whatever. It's fine. I'm fine. I'm not going to be yelling and screaming this episode. I'll not be chucking things and throwing things and flipping monitors and storming out of here because, well, this is a very tiny apartment and I wouldn't take all that many steps to storm out of here. And then I'd have to walk back and, it'd just be really awkward for everyone involved. Instead, just a quiet, resolved, reluctant, resigned soliloquy on the death of this Rangers season. Because that's what this feels like, for sure. I mean, we're 73 games into the season. We're not quite halfway there, but we're just about. And you figure this is about the team you're getting. This kind of is who you are at this point. There's not a whole lot of mystery left. I know there's still half a season left, but the Rangers and Astros are both tied at 10 games behind the Seattle Mariners for second place in the AL West, and this could have been you. That could have been you 10 games ahead in the AL West. With how this team pitched in the first half of the season, it should be you. It should be. But even if this offense wakes up, even if this team does go on a heater, even if they do get all of those arms back that they're expecting to get back, and the couple of bats that they're expecting to get back, I mean, it's at the point where it's pretty much too late. It's over. It's done. The whole goal of the first half of the season was don't dig yourself in too bad of a hole. And what did they do? They dug themselves in too bad of a hole. They're 7.5 games out of the third wild card spot. The third one. The Tigers are better than you right now. The Rays, who were awful to start the year, are better than you right now. The Boston Red Sox, who have been incredibly hurt and surprisingly fine, they're much better than you. Same with the Blue Jays, who their fan base wants to light themselves on fire while they watch every game, based on the few Blue Jays fans that I follow and what they say during games. But no, all those teams are way better than you. And 4 out of the 5 worst teams in the American League this year are in the AL West. And they are the Rangers, Astros, Angels, A's. The only team worse than them is the White Sox, who just shut out the Houston Astros. I can't even enjoy that. The White Sox shutting out the Houston Astros, because the Rangers are also in the freaking stinker, riding an L5, the longest losing streak. Actually, the A's are riding an L9, the second longest active losing streak in the American League. It's rough. You can't even hide behind the run differential now. You just can't. The Astros are +2. The Rangers are -18. -18. They deserve to be this losing team right now. And it'd be nice to see, for my own edification, my own, mental health, because I'm going to be watching the rest of these games this season, if they were just, figure some things out and go on a little bit of a run, even if it is a little bit too little too late, it'd be nice. But at this point, it's done. You're cooked. Your goose is cooked. The duck is cooked. The chicken is cooked. The goose duckin'. Maybe turducken was the metaphor I was going for. That I mixed my birds. The goose turducken, whatever. All of those birds are cooked. Every single one of them. Because you dug yourself in this awful hole early on this year. And it's too late. It's too late. It doesn't matter what's happening on the IL. Well, who's coming back, when they're coming back, how they're going to look when they come back. It doesn't matter. Oh, Nathaniel Lowe is looking better at the plate. That's great. I like that. White Langford is figuring some things out. That's great. That's honestly really good for you and your prognosis long term. But having that lingering back issue, which I have heard nothing about when or if Evan Carter's even coming back this year, I have absolutely no idea on the timeline there. And it becomes a lingering back injury, a recurring back injury for a 21-year-old who the hopes were so high for heading into this year. And the results were so low, as they have been for the entirety of this offense. And yeah, you may be saying, oh, we're barely halfway through June. Oh, there's no way you can say this team is cooked. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Because unless there's some kind of historic collapse from the Mariners, which there might be. And if there is some kind of historic run for this Rangers team, which I don't know, it's physically possible, but emotionally, does it feel possible? Spiritually, does it feel possible? Metaphorically, does it feel possible? I'm not seeing it. I mean, where in this team and what they've done this year makes you think, oh, this is the same as last year? They're going to go on that miracle run. They got that special something in them. Whatever the special sauce is, the secret sauce that was in them last year, it has expired. It has gone bad on the shelf. It should have been kept in the refrigerator or the freezer, but it has gone rank this year in the cabinet. Because there is no special secret sauce. There is nothing special about this team for the last 2 months. They've been bad. A bad baseball team. They are continuing to be bad against other bad baseball teams. And quite frankly, it's not even worth yelling about anymore. It's just done. It's time to accept the reality of this season being over. Accept the reality of maybe another playoff drought starting. Maybe that's being a little bit too dramatic, but with the kind of fall off this team had and relying yet again on aging pitchers, and yet again, who on this roster is going to be the homegrown pitcher that the Rangers finally developed for the first time in 20 years that stays solid for more than a year or two? Who is on there in this system? Maybe it's Alejandro Rosario, but he's still ways away. Maybe it's Winston Sanchez, but he's still a ways away. Maybe it's Emiliano Teodo, but he's also still quite a ways away. And it just feels like an absolute cowabummer of a way to end your hopes for the playoffs, because right now they're pretty much done ski. This episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. With PrizePicks, you can turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite sports this summer. You can make a PrizePicks lineup in as little as 60 seconds. You just need to pick more or less on 2 to 6 players' stat projections, and you are locked in. If you're looking for promotions, PrizePicks has got you covered every week. From lowering select players' stats projections on Tuesdays, which increases your chance of getting a win, to getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. You can make your first deposit, your $10 deposit, and receive an instant $10 bonus. If you've got the skills, you can play for a shot at turning your $10 into $1,000. PrizePicks available in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Now, the thing that's most frustrating about this loss is that it came after an offensive explosion of 6 runs. Now, this team is undefeated, was undefeated when they scored 6 or more runs this season. The starting rotation and the good side of this bullpen had been able to keep things close enough to where if the Rangers, if they got you usually 5 to 6 runs, even 5, the Rangers only lost 3 games all year when scoring 5 or more runs in a game. But now this is the first time they have scored 6 or more runs in a game and lost. And it's a matter of finding new ways to lose. The one thing that felt sure about this team, I mean, the rotation, it definitely had its moments. I mean, Lorenzen has been, it still is. I mean, this is a quality start. It's not the best start, but it was definitely a quality start by name and by actuality. But still, the fact that you were able to get 6 runs out of your offense, you were able to get 3 whole extra base hits, including a 3-run homer by Josh Smith, who finally returned to the lineup. He's been dealing with general soreness the last couple of days, and getting his bat back in there, it's like, okay, all right, we're not having to DH Travis Jankowski. You're able to get Adolis Garcia a much needed day off, and even though Jankowski is not exactly an offensive upgrade with his sub 550 OPS this year, not quite what he was last year. Still just getting Adolis a day off his feet and being able to get Josh Smith's bat back in there and having a top 3 of the lineup you felt pretty decent about, that's huge. That is a massive win for this team moving forward. Now, the fact that it still ended up in a loss is incredibly frustrating because Robertson he's had some rough outings before, and the Raiders have had to use him a lot because, well, I'm still not entirely sure they trust Leclerc in the highest leverage situations, and he got blooped. He got babbitt a little bit in this one, but still walked a guy and still was not able to get outs like you would have liked in that situation, coming in the seventh inning to hopefully be the seventh inning guy, finish your seventh inning with a lead. Didn't do that. Was 6-3 at that point. And the Rangers offense, again, going cold late in games. They finally had one of those big innings of the 5-run inning, which they did all the time last year. And they have not done in many moons this year. I think it's actually about technically one actual moon, because they did do that against the A's a couple of times. But for the most part, at least since then, those big innings have been non-existent. And those big 3-run homers, or big hits with multiple runners on base, or with runners in scoring position, just has not been the case. And it wasn't this one. And they also finally got the first over the fence home run by Wyatt Langford of his major league career. First of many, I'm thinking. And it was not a cheapie. It was 107 miles an hour off the bat. It would have been a home run in all 30 ballparks. 414 feet for him. I'm sure that felt good. I'm sure what felt even better was the dugout giving him the silent treatment in all of his teammates giving him the silent treatment in the dugout after he got in there for his first home run that was over the fence. And seeing Corey Seager in there doing his iPad time and not really being bothered was a fun little element to that. But I know that felt good for Wyatt Langford. Getting him going is huge for this team, even if it is too late for this season. Just moving forward, getting that rookie who was incredibly hyped and right to be incredibly hyped, but it's been a tough year for him so far. It's been a tough year for both the rookie, teenage, 20-something-year-old outfielders that have not quite performed like they expected to, like they expected themselves to, like the Rangers expected them to this year. But it's still very early on in their careers, and both of them have not really spent that much time in the majors. And it is as big a jump from the minors to the majors as it has ever been in my time covering Major League Baseball. And so seeing this guy take a minute, even though he was an incredibly hyped prospect, even though he was a guy with all the tools in the world, it takes some guys some time sometimes. And that's fine. And that's not an indictment on who he's going to be for the rest of his career. That he's not going to live up to the admittedly very, very lofty expectations for him. It's a good sign. But when Robertson blows a game like this, when Yates blows his first game of the season, his first loss of the season, his ERA is still barely above 1. He only gave up 1 run in this one. The rest of the pen was as much, if not more, of an issue than he was. Still, incredibly frustrating. An incredibly frustrating way to lose a game. The one guy that you thought, all right, if nobody got me, Kirby Yates got me. But if nobody got me, and also Kirby Yates don't got me, then just straight up nobody got me. And what a miserable place to be, feeling like absolutely nobody got me. That's rough. It is a rough place to be for the 2024 Texas Rangers. And I don't think it's getting all that much better. Maybe a little bit better, but again, like I said, there's only so much of a hole you can dig yourself out of. This was you're trying to avoid. This was the series in a very difficult month of June. This was one of the series that you were supposed to take. The Rangers have won 2 series in this month of June. They won 1 series against the Marlins. Granted, they won all the games in June against the Marlins. They lost the one at the end of May. But once the calendar turned to June, those bats looked like they were waking up. 7 runs and 6 runs. Back-to-back shutouts against the Marlins. Okay, maybe things are turning around. Nope. It should be easy series against the Tigers. Nope, you lose 2 out of 3. You only score 1 in 2 out of 3 of those games. At home. Then the Giants come to town. You lose 2 out of 3 to them, who are also not good this year. Then somehow by a miracle, you take 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers in a series where you were outscored by 10 cumulatively on the series. And then you get absolutely blanked by the Mariners, and you lose 2 out of 3 to the Mets, who somehow have the magic power of Grimace powering their hottest streak in forever. And you just happen to run into the Mets on a heater at the wrong time, of all things. the Mets. Grimace. That's really what puts the nail in the coffin of your season? That's so embarrassing. What an embarrassing way to fold your season, to really drive any kind of hope out, because it doesn't get any easier after this. It really doesn't. At some point this weekend, Max Scherzer is going to pitch. When exactly, I'm not sure at this moment. Maybe it's Saturday, maybe it's Sunday, maybe it's Friday, but it's against the Royals, who are actually a really good team this year. And then you have a 7-game road trip with 3 games in Milwaukee, who is leading the NL Central and a really good team this year. And then you got 4 games against the Orioles, who are a great team this year, and even better than last year. And then what do you have before the All-Star break? Well, you got 3 against the Padres, who are a good team, 3 against the Rays, who are a team that's better than you. And then you finish with a 6-game road trip heading into the break, 3 in Anaheim, 3 in Houston. And, well, at that point, I was very much looking forward to that series in Houston before the All-Star break. Like, this will really be a crucial series for playoff positioning. Nope. I don't think so. I don't know about that. It's definitely not going to be a crucial series in terms of who wins the AL West, unless something absolutely buck-wild happens. This episode is brought to you by Policygenius. A lot of life is unpredictable, but a good life insurance plan gives your family a financial safety net to protect against the unknowns. Policygenius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace. It makes choosing the right policy for your family easy and quick. Policygenius helps you compare your options from America's top insurers in just a few clicks. With Policygenius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options are 100% online and let you avoid unnecessary medical exams. Their award-winning agents can even walk you through the process step by step. Your work-life insurance policy may not offer enough protection for your family's needs. Even worse, it may not come with you if you leave your job. But Policygenius has no incentive to recommend one insurer over another, so you can trust their guidance. They have thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot from customers who found the best fit for their needs. Get peace of mind by finding the right life insurance policy with Policygenius. Head to policygenius.com or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com. Here on Locked On Rangers, we pride ourselves at getting you the latest news for your team. Whether it's the offseason, the draft, spring training, or the playoffs, it's year-round. You know what else is year-round? Collection season. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean the IRS will stop coming after you for unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With over 14 years of experience and an A-plus rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season and need help correctly filing, call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/lockedon. See the link in the episode description below. Now, when I say this season is dead, I don't say it in the way that many others do, in that, I'm done with this season. I can turn it off. I'm not watching. I'm done thinking about baseball for the year. I mean that in a way of, okay, we're free. We are released from the burden of expectations. I have watched a lot of bad baseball over my years. I have had a podcast talking about a lot of bad baseball over the years, often by myself. And I was really hopeful that through that World Series run and through adding, 2 top 3 prospects in all of baseball to this lineup that was already great, and then hopefully adding Scherzer, Mahle, deGrom to a rotation that seemed fine at the start of the year, and a bullpen adding Yates and Robertson that was exciting. I thought, okay, I'm done podcasting about bad baseball for a while. Well, the baseball god said no, you silly fool, you arrogant moron. How dare you? think that you understand baseball. You think you know ball. You who watches probably 500, 600 games a year. You don't know ball. You don't know squat. You don't know nothing about baseball. None of us do. None of us can ever predict baseball. But the thing that I love about baseball more than other sports, and the reason why I love doing this podcast and being part of Locked On, where it's your team every single day, is that it is your team every single day with baseball and with Locked On. And the continuity there of the long, grueling summers, grinding it out, and the jump back from 90-something loss team, 92. I've forgotten 2022. I purged it from my memory because I thought we're past the bad times and remembering how many losses we had. It didn't matter. It didn't matter because this team is full of winners now. The difficult part of that transition from losing team to World Series champion overnight is readjusting your expectations. After years of profound mediocrity to badness, remembering how to, suffer the slings and arrows of an up and down season, especially one as up and down as the Rangers had last year. I mean, going from, it's so over to we're so back a bazillion times over in the month of August alone. Not to mention in the ALCS alone. Of how much, jumping from this team's dead, can't do anything, to this is the greatest team of all time, they're going to win it all. And then they do win it all. It's hard to wrap your head around those expectations and reset from years of watching Major League Baseball, almost the same as watching minor league baseball. Whenever I'd come back home from when I lived at home and I would go out and watch a Rough Riders game, the first thing my parents would ask me is, how was the game? Did they win? And so many times I would say, I honestly don't remember if they won or not. Because I was there to watch 2 or 3 guys and see how they project, see how they handle different situations, see, can this, young shortstop, can he get a hit the opposite field against the right-handed breaking ball? Or, how is this guy's routes out there in left field? Is he actually going to be a passable defender? Or, wow, this guy, he was really commanding the strike zone, and, he was throwing that curveball for a strike, and that was amazing. I don't know what the final score is. And when you have a losing baseball team, which the Rangers have this year, unfortunately, it kind of turns that. It turns more to the future. It turns to hope. It turns to looking more at the farm system and looking at how these young players develop. And, is Nick Solak going to develop into an everyday hitter? What is Denny Santana moving forward? And, is Nomar Mazar going to learn how to play the outfield well? And is he going to start to hit for more power? It changes your whole mindset of watching baseball games. And every loss is much less debilitating. It's much less frustrating. I mean, they still stink. And watching a stinky baseball team is much less fun than watching a World Series champion team. But still, the thing that I love about it, and the thing that I love about, all of this, why I've done this for a living for a decade at this point, or at least tried to for a decade at this point, is the camaraderie of the day one, of the everydayers, of the diehards, of the sickos like me, who are watching every single inning of this crappy team and wanting to find out those answers of, okay, is Cody Bradford going to be a legit starter this year? How is Dane Dunning going to develop that forkball? Is Jose Leclerc going to stay in the strike zone? Is Brock Burke really a viable reliever, or was that 1 year just a flash in the pan? Going through it, the ups and the downs, and occasionally feeding into the hysteria and dramatics, because that's what baseball's for, especially on just grueling losses and nights like this, of just saying, it's so over. I hate this. I hate baseball. I'll see you again tomorrow. That is the essential baseball fan experience. And living through that, the ups and the downs, with all of you, with all of my mutuals on Twitter, with everyone who lives and dies with this team, it's just the freaking best. Because even when your team sucks, it's still your team. you still have that community, that camaraderie. You still have that bond with your friends of, wow, you see that Rangers game last night? It sure did suck, but you saw it, and you bond just a little bit more with whoever that is, whether it's your friends, family, coworkers, strangers wearing a hat. Doesn't matter. That's the best part of sports. It's the best part of baseball, is it is such a unifying experience, and there are so many great people. It's the part of the championship that I love the most. Not just that I got to say, haha, my team's the best, my team's better than yours, your team sucks, you can't tell me anything. It's getting to experience that and live it with the people who have, lived through the ups and downs. And even the bandwagoners who are, if you hopped on the bandwagon last year and you're like, I'm going to be a baseball fan, and you want to see how grueling it is every year, this is a good experience, a good reminder of, hey, it's not always sunshine and flowers. 29 teams end their year on a crappy note. Only one of them gets to hoist the trophy every year. But it's that camaraderie and celebrating that championship parade with some friends who I've known for years, some who I just met last year, and some more who hopefully at the next parade I'll get to meet, who I haven't met yet. That's the best part of doing this, of being a sports fan, of just, life in general, is that community, that bond over whatever it is, whether it's over a crappy baseball team, whether it's over a good baseball team, whether it's over your love of Taylor Swift or pottery or plants or anime. I don't know. Whatever that is for you. If you're listening to this podcast right now, I'm pretty sure it's baseball and probably the Texas Rangers. Or you just found your way here by accident, and in that case, welcome. But that community is something that is so special, and that community lost a member today. I'm going to give a shout out to Cody, a longtime Twitter mutual of mine who passed away yesterday. Just an absolute delight of a human being. Silly, goofy guy that was not someone who I would say I was best friends with. Made a huge impact on Rangers Twitter, on this Twitter community, on the P1 community. A guy who was always, a source of joy, of silliness, of happiness. And we lost that yesterday. And I send all of my love and prayers and condolences to his friends and family and those who knew him so much better than me. But I just wanted to read out a quintessential Cody tweet, his what is still his pinned tweet, which, if memory serves me correctly, was from Game 4 of the World Series. A game where the Rangers were winning by about a bazillion runs against the Diamondbacks. And it was just hating on John Smoltz, which is something that I can bond with anybody over. He tweeted, in quotations, "Even though the Diamondbacks are losing, they could easily be winning this game. Advantage, Arizona. Sometimes box scores can be confusing, but not here." End quote. From John Smoltz. What a delightful human being. The world is a little bit darker without Cody. All love to you, Cody. Shout out to you. Hug your loved ones. And remember that even a crappy baseball team is still more baseball for us to bond over. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you all so much for listening. And until next time, don't forget to enjoy World Series champion Texas Rangers baseball.